We had two things happen today that caused markets to spike. First off, earlier today, the UK released their new unemployment rate, which was raised up to 3.8%. This caused the pound to rally and so far is up on the day. Next up was the Canadian CPI report, where the inflation rate dropped somewhat significantly. The yearly inflation rate in Canada is now 4.3%. That caused a slight spike in the market and is still up slightly so far today. We have two more CPI events happening tomorrow featuring the pound and the New Zealand dollar, so keep your eyes out for that. So let's talk about the pound really quickly because they had two things happen today. They had the Claimant count change report released as well as their new unemployment rate, which was actually raised, but off of that came a nice little pound rally. So here's the pound against the dollar. We can see GBP USD here on a 15-minute time frame. And this bar right here, this is when the news actually happened. And look at that rally to the upside. Now it has come down a little bit since then, but the pound has actually made some really nice moves here to throughout the day, really. So I'm going to get back to that in just a second. Before we do that, though, I want to check out the market heat map really quickly and see how some of our other assets have trended so far today. So here in the market heat map, we're taking a look at all of our different assets and we can see what percentage up or down they are on the day so far. So starting up here in the top left, this is our biggest mover to the upside so far today, and it's actually gold. Gold is up 0.6%. Followed by Aussie CAD, the pound dollar, there we go, up 0.37% is the pound dollar on the day so far. Aussie USD, Euro USD, and NZD USD. And so another thing I'm noticing here is we have 4 straight dollar crosses here, all selling off the dollar. So dollar weakness seems to be a trend so far today. In fact, we are seeing more dollar weakness when we look down here. These are our biggest movers to the downside so far today, and the number one being USD ZAR is currently down 0.66% on the day so far, followed by USD JPY, CAD JPY, USD CHF, CHF JPY, and USD CAD. So dollar has lost all of the momentum that it had been building and is really doing pretty poorly today. We can also check out US indices right here. Not a lot of movement from our indices at all. In fact, our other 3 global indices, the German 30, JP225, and UK 100, they're actually all in the positive on the day. But these 3, S&P 500, US 30, and NASDAQ 100, these 3 US indices are just kind of sitting around doing not a whole lot. S&P 500 up 0.03%, US 30 down 0.04%, and NASDAQ down 0.08%. So not a lot of movement going on there, but gold is up on the day, dollar down on the day. So let's get back into this. And the reason I wanted to take a look at the pound is because the pound has just had such a nice little rally today that I thought that we would break down a pound pair, and I thought GBP JPY would be a great one to take a look at. It has a solid score of a +5. The pound is rallying so far today, and I'm going to show you one other thing that makes me want to take a look at the pound. If we go into the smart money tracker right here, we can see that our most bearish asset from institutional traders is the yen currently. Institutional traders, or smart money traders, however you may refer to them, are currently 85.28% short as a collective on the yen at the moment, just 14.72% long. Now, they're not exactly bullish on the pound, however. We take a look at it, they're actually technically favored short, 51% short and 49% long there on the pound, but 50-50 on the pound, favored short on the yen. Pound had a nice little rally today, as we saw, and we have this nice GJ cross right here with a solid +5 score that we're going to break down right now. So let's go ahead and jump in there. Here we go, GJ. There we are, GJ. So like I've mentioned, pound yen has a score of +5, COT data is a score of +1, and retail sentiment a score of +1 as well. Now we just took a look at this. We know that the yen is very, very heavily favored short from institutional traders, 85.28% short there, and the pound is pretty much 50-50 with institutional traders, not really favored one way or the other. Retail sentiment, on the other hand, the day traders are currently favored short on this pair as a whole, 71% short and 28% 29% long there. Seasonality is a score of +1. And we can see, taking a look at the month of April, historically speaking, if you were to isolate the month of April over the last 10 years to see how GJ was trending, you would notice that over those last 10 years, it trends somewhat bullishly. And that has so far been the case, at least over the past day or two. Trend reading is a score of +2, and I said a day or two, but really it's been longer than that. We can see right here in our trend projection little box here, we can see all the way back to April 10th, and it has certainly been making nice moves to the upside pretty much every day since then. And if we want to get an even more in-depth look at that, we can take a look at price forecast here, and we will select GJ right there, and we can see a little bit further back. So April 10th is where we could see it in the trend projection page. Really since April 6th though. April 6th is when it really started building this momentum. It had a little bit of a downward spiral right here, March 31st to April 6th. So about a week it was making moves to the downside, but since then it has been making some real nice trends toward the upside. Let's go back into the breakdown page though and finish up with our fundamentals, which are very split at the moment. GDP growth and interest rates are scores of +1, but inflation and unemployment are scores of -1. So fundamentally speaking, not a whole lot to go off of here, but we'll break down these numbers either way. Pound GDP growth 0.1% compared to 0% in Japan here. Inflation 10.4% compared to 3.3%. 3.8% unemployment here. Those are those new numbers that we got today, compared to 2.6% unemployment in Japan. And lastly, interest rates 4.25% on the pound compared to negative 0.1% on the Japanese yen. So there we go, quick breakdown of GJ for you. Pretty solid buy score with that score of +5 there. And I'll remind you one more time that if you want access to this trading software with all of those features that we took a look at and so many more that we didn't, so many useful things that you can do here to find better trading entries using the A1 EdgeFinder. If you want it for yourself, go check out the links down in the description below and get that 40% off discount when you use promo code A1YT at checkout.
Let me give you an example of that. So I was trading GJ last week. I made some money trading GJ on the long side. Let's take a look at our old friend GBP JPY and see what's going on with the old pound yen. And let's start fresh. So I mentioned I pick direction not based on the chart. This chart does look pretty to the upside, but this is not why I'm long biased on the pound yen. I'm long biased on the pound yen because, again, if we take a look at this row, we get a buy bias. What does that mean and why is that so magical? Well, it's not magical. It's really quite simple, and it is not some secret algorithm that I'm going to black box on all of you guys. This stuff is very transparent. We use a number of indications that we like to use. So, for example, the COT data. Why does this matter? This shows us what institutional money is buying and selling. Retail sentiment. This shows us what amateur traders, what are they doing? This is what we would call SA, or sentiment analysis. And then you have seasonal trends, which are observable parts of the year, weeks of the month that are notable for a particular asset, right? You can study the seasonal trends. This is all stuff that's not just technical analysis, right? You also have the trend. This is pretty technical. GDP growth, inflation, unemployment, and interest rates. We would call these for our major FA, fundamental analysis, economic numbers, right? So again, by the way, guys, as we go through this, if you'd like to try out the EdgeFinder, we do have a free trial link here. If you want to click this, it will take you to where you can check out the software for yourself. And Chandler, let me know if we have somebody in the office who could help out with trials in office. Just let me know through Discord if you could. That'd be awesome. But yes, so what we use then is we combine all of these. They generate a score and a bias, and then I'm able to actually trade off of that. So for example, if I'm talking GJ, we just pulled up the chart for GBP JPY. Here's where we're at in terms of the pound yen. Sentiment +5, okay. COT data. If we take a look, and this is how we break this down. If we're looking at smart money, the COT data section right here is going to tell us what big money, non-commercials from the CFTC's Commitment of Traders report, what are they buying and what are they selling? The Japanese yen, very heavy short preference from institutional money. The pound, about 50-50. So if I'm going to pick between these two, which one am I going to pick? the pound. If I was going to have to be long one and short the other, I would pick the pound personally, right? Because again, big money is on the short side of the Japanese yen. What's notable, guys, is that retail traders are on the opposite side of that train. 73% of retail traders are short pound Japanese yen. So they're betting the exact opposite. They're betting against the pound and in favor of the Japanese yen. Now, if we take a look at the trend is to the upside. We've had a nice little trend projection chart. Basically takes a number of price pattern or momentum indications and builds a trend projection based on what price action is doing. So we have a nice upward trend there. If we take a look at seasonality, the month of April is historically positive for the pound Japanese yen, which is again part of the reason that, again, the month of April historically moves up. So we use all of that information to our favor. Then we say, okay, this is helping me in my analysis. The direction is to the upside, right? So that's the bias. That doesn't mean that it's just going to float up continuously. Now we have to go take a look at the charts. And this is how we do, again, this is how we do analysis every day. Now that we have the bias to the upside, we use the technical charts to actually look for entries and exits. Now this is up to you how you do this, but for me, this is what I use. I use simple technical price action patterns. So for example, if we get a break and retest above this, this actually could offer, in my opinion, some good opportunity for the pound yen, right? So if we get a big solid break and a pullback into support, the risk to reward looks pretty good. So again, let's set that trade up. Let's set that up as an idea to go into the remainder of this week. So if pound yen makes a move higher, we could talk about something like this. So again, let's say that we get a big break to the upside. Let's say we make a run for like 167.6. And then from there, we start to pull back into support. And now we have all the things that we need. We have bias from the EdgeFinder. We have a technical breakout to the upside. And I'm looking for a continuation. Where would I go with this? Well, I personally like to trail stops, but it's again up to you how you want to trade. I mean, I'm not here telling you what you should do. I'm here sharing my thoughts. And how I like to trade is I like to trail stops. So let's say that I have my stop loss in place here, just below the 61.8. And let's just say that my trade rockets in my favor, right? So again, stop loss is below 61.8. And let's say we get this move here this week. Price comes in and I'm in my trade. And let's say we make a move back up and we break through the highs. How am I going to exit this trade? Well, what I'm going to do, stop loss is initially here. At a break or a return back to the previous highs, what I like to do is I like to take my risk off and move profits, move my stop loss into profit. I use market structure to trail a stop. And if price is able to break out higher, again, I trail that stop, until eventually the market breaks, stops me out, and I take a profit. This is exactly what we did last week, if you guys were watching, with pound Japanese yen. If you guys were watching the live streams and are inside of our Discord channel, you know that we caught GJ on the long side right around here. And I was able to ride this thing all the way up to PPI day, which was right around here. And I trailed my stop loss and was stopped out right here for a nice profit. So again, this is what we do over and over on the channel. I've been live streaming here for years, and this is what we do. This is the strategy that I incorporate in my everyday trading.
Don't forget to check out the links in the description if you want our broker recommendation, access to our free Discord, free EdgeFinder, or want to chat with us on Telegram. Remember, you can watch us live in the markets every morning starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we have lots more free trading tools and content available on our website, a1trading.com. Thanks for watching.